This is a vision I had Tuesday, the 8th of September. I saw an ocean, and usually how the sun rises and the ocean looks like it never ends and it hits the sun. It was like that, but instead of the sun, it was the moon. And the moon was rotating sort of like a clock, or I can't describe the best way to show you what it was doing, but it was sort of going around and around, and each of the moons sort of were different shapes of the moon. So it sort of like was spinning until it landed on the moon that it was supposed to be on. So different, like a half moon, crescent moon, different moons, and then it would go around and around, and then it finally stopped on this full moon, this bright yellow moon. And then it zoomed in to this one part of it that was just this really lit up bright part. And next to the part that was lit up was a book that was opened, and someone had their hand out and they were writing on the palm of their hand, and they were writing pretty quickly. They would, write really quickly, and then they'd turn page to page, and then they'd write quickly again, and they just were writing and writing and writing. And then when they were finished writing on the palm of their hand, they took that book and they broke it up into pieces and they threw it into the water, and its pages were just sitting there wet. And then the next thing I saw was a woman, and she was swimming in the ocean, and she sort of was just under the water but on the surface of the water, and she was in like a swimmer's cap and a swimsuit, and she was kind of swimming through these pages, and she looked up like, what, like sort of like, what are these, what's on me? And she, with one of the pages, she kind of just she put it on her hand, blew it up into the air, and then another page she used to like wipe her face off, and then she put her face back into the water, and she swam away. And she swam and swam, and it seemed to be a little bit of a ways while she was swimming. And then the next thing I saw was the shore, and I saw all these horses start to get out of the water. They were wet, and they got up out of the water, and they kind of shook off and went off on their way. And then the woman came, and she got out, and she took off her swim cap to reveal her dry hair, and it was kind of strawberry blonde, curly. It was a little old-fashioned style for me. And she had this white dress on, and it wasn't like a wedding gown or anything. It was actually like sort of like a 50s outfit, and she was kind of swaying, and she was singing. The picture that I got of this woman was I think it was the 50s. At least I think she's from the 50s, but it was a picture of Marilyn Monroe, and she had, I believe, come from sort of a simple life to where she was in Hollywood, and she was very self-absorbed and sort of living a lifestyle for herself. And so she, in the vision, she was sort of just swaying in this white dress in front of a microphone, singing or something along those lines. And then a man came up to her, and he was in a military outfit, and he began to dance with her. And it was sort of like a man of war, like it was indicative of a man of war. And he began to spin her, and he made her so spinny, like she spin and spin and spin her, and like flipped her and spin her so much so that she got really dizzy, and she actually fell back into the water. And when she came out, she was like sopping wet, and like she had this wig on, I guess, this whole time, and the wig fell off, and she was kind of a mess, and she put her hands up like, hello, help me, help me. And I believe her desire for to be rescued was actually towards the Lord. It was like a, Lord, help me. And so he brought over a measuring device, and it was like a justice. I don't know if it's a measuring tool, but they use it for justice, like to show justice. So that she gets into the little cup part of one of the weighing sides, and she's sitting there, and she's sort of afraid at first. She's kind of hanging on, and you can see she's sort of afraid. And then she kind of waves to the Lord again and points to the water, and she's pointing like her shoes are in the water. Her shoes are in the water. So she points to them, and the Lord doesn't, I don't know if he just doesn't respond or doesn't answer her, but she can reach them. So she kind of bends down and grabs her shoes. They're white high heels, and she puts her shoes on. And so now she's in her full outfit now, and she's dry, and she's happy, and she's just like completely fine now. And the Lord turns the scales to show me what is equaling the same weight as her. So he turns it over, and in the other side of the scales is this sheep, and the sheep is very lazy, and he's dirty, and he's kind of on his back, and you could tell the words I got were lazy and self-absorbed. And immediately when I heard the word self-absorbed, the picture that came to my mind was very self-pleasing. I saw a lot of like what a woman would go to kind of pamper herself, fake nails, fake, eyelashes, the works, whatever a beauty salon can do to a person to change their look or make them better. I saw all these places like this, and all these people that were going into them. And then as these people are in these places, they turned into rodents. I know that sounds strange, but they turned into rodents. And so after this part, after I've seen both sides of the scale and the word justice over the scale, the Lord carries the scales over to a bell and starts to sort of ding the scales against the bell. And what I noticed was the bell was a liberty bell. So it was justice and liberty. And he begins to put the scales against the bell and sort of ding them into the bell. And the woman began to lose her balance. And that's the end of the vision.